Hi guys. Okay, so I am here with my September creative design team project for Tracie Fox Creative, and I am using her beautiful Darling Bees kit. I have already cut into it, as you can see. I did actually start doing a video on what I was doing, but I couldn't get it going. I kept making too many mistakes, and yeah, so I just went off camera and did all the preparation ready. I can get rid of them. Them's just the scraps. We don't need those anymore. Okay, so what I am doing with the Darling Bees kit is I am not making a journal or anything of the sort. I am making a Notelets set. Now I will refer back to these. These, if you guys remember, I did a while back using Tracie's Notelets kit. This was the first one that she did, Notelets Set 1. So you got the cover in the kit, you got the cover, and then you get loads of sheets with templates to cut out for envelopes, note cards. You get little labels and things as well. So I just cut them out and basically put them together as the kit was intended. And you get coin envelopes when you put them together. There was little belly bands in it and all to wrap around to keep them together in there. And then of course just beautiful pieces of paper folded in half to use as note cards. And then again another belly band to wrap around them and keep them in place, like so. Perfect gifts for pen pals and friends, and you know, stocking fillers coming up to Christmas, guys. 100 and something days left. Yeah, so perfect little stocking fillers. So that's the set 1 that Tracie did. This is set 2 that Tracie did. The same thing, just in a different theme. This is like vintage newspaper articles and things. Again, the same thing. This one is a bit faffy to get back in because I just printed this on normal printer paper to show off on video when I was promoting the kit for her. Yeah, so it's a bit faffy to get back in because obviously it's thinner. So the other one I did properly because I did it as a project. Okay, but it works. Okay, so what I am doing with the Darling Bees kit is I am replicating that, but on a small scale. Now, I did do the large scale, so what I did, I got the Notelets Set 1 and I printed one of the envelopes. This is normal size. When this is folded up, it is the size of the one in the... It is this size, so once it's folded up it becomes that size. The note card folded in half becomes that size. The cover folded, well, scored and folded where it should be, actually that is the exact cover, is that size. Okay, but I didn't have enough of the pages from the Darling Bees kit to do this in full scale. I would have had to have printed loads of replicas, and I had loads of pages already, so I printed the same set, the same envelope, note card and cover in 2 to a page, so it shrunk it down, which gives me this once it's done. Okay, so when cut out and scored where it should be, there's very faint lines on there, so I had to measure. But yeah, once scored where it should be, that gives me the cover. I covered the inside as well. Okay, so there's the diddy little cover. Again, there's the note card, once cut down to size. And this is the envelope once cut out and put together. So it then becomes the envelope size, and of course the note card fits perfectly inside the envelope. Now the envelope comes out like a coin envelope, and there you are. Yeah, so that's that. And then to do the same thing as the other ones, you just put a little belly band around however many you want when you've cut them all out, and then you glue them into place in there like that. Okay, However, I do not get on very well with making these style envelopes. I can never get them folded right. I can never get that rounded edge properly. I even got that in rounded edge wrong, just cutting it out from the template, drawing around it. As I said, I cut these out and I glued them onto some thick craft stock so that I can use them as templates. Now I've always got these to use as templates now. But yeah, so as awesome as it is in miniature like that, the envelopes, I don't get on very well with the envelopes, so I actually used my brain and some math, and I did my own style, using my envelope punch board, because I went for the normal envelope style. Okay, now this envelope is big enough to put a gift card in. I went for the smallest size, closest to the actual original kit. So, but it's just a little bit taller that way, but not quite as wide that way. So I thought, right, well, the smallest one on the envelope punch board says gift card size. I thought, well, that is perfect, because, you know, if you're going to give them away, you could put a gift card in too. So I cut out a 5x5 piece of paper and used my envelope punch board to create the envelope as it says, and then I needed to do a 4.5 by 3.5 size for the note card, and the cover, which I then had to measure based on the envelope and the note card. I couldn't wing it and use them measurements because it wasn't big enough. I had to actually place the envelope on the paper. The note card didn't matter because the note card's smaller than the envelope, so I had to then figure out how much extra I wanted around it, and then double it and then add a bit on to create the spine. That's where the math come in. And I'm really actually pleased. I'm really chuffed with how it come out. I don't think I did too bad of a job. Yeah, so there's plenty of space there inside. So my measurements for the cover are 5.5 inch wide by 4 inch tall, and then you score at 2 3/8, and that side, and then you turn it that way, and again you score at 2 3/8 that way. Okay, so I have, as I said off camera, I have prepped everything. I have cut everything to size already. This is what I wanted to use for the cover. Okay, so, and it's just lurking kind of thing there because I glued it onto here. I wanted that to line the inside of it, so I was just waiting for it to dry while I cut all those out. So now we're going to cut this out, and I'll use my big scissors for that. Once we've cut it out, we will score it. Oh, sorry guys, I forgot to tell you, on the edges of these, I used the fossilised amber and vintage photo ink, distress ink. So I will use that on these as well to cover all the white lines from cutting, because I can't cut properly to save my life by hand. That's why I left the back piece slightly bigger. Otherwise I'd never have got it on properly. Okay, now I know I could have gone around this on the scoreboard, but I don't want to because I've already cut the cover to the size that I need it to be. See what I mean about not being able to cut straight? I've cut into that. I should have cut the cover slightly bigger, and then we could have used the scoreboard to cut around it to be the right size. Anywho, there we go. Now that's the last time I'll be using my scissors. Okay. Yeah, we'll ignore that. I'll just ink over it. Now I'm going to take my scoreboard. Now I want that to be, I believe that to be the front, although the B's not actually going to be in the right place, so I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to make this bit the front. We could always decorate that with a bee or something anyway. So I'm going to pop that, although I will do it this is the inside. I'm going to score on the inside because valleys make mountains. Okay, so I want 2 3/8, which is the little notch on this, if you've got this scoreboard, between the half and between the 2 1/2 and 2 3/4 mark. So it's this one. Okay, so I'm going to score down there. And then I'm going to turn it so the other side is up against here. And I'm going to do the same mark. So that one there between the 1/2 and 3/4. Okay, now valleys make mountains. Because we've scored into the grooves, that's a valley. Okay, so when we fold that, you get a peak, which becomes the mountain. Valley goes in, mountains go up. That's the easiest way to remember it. Okay. Could have done it the other way, but it folds better and it just folds better doing it that way. Okay, so now the pattern's on the back of the cover and it's plain on the front, which isn't too bad because then it gives us scope to decorate the front. Okay, and then the little spine is on the inside, and because we're not sewing into this or anything, that's fine. You're still actually going to see that little buzzy bee. So I'm happy with that. It's got to happen, as you guys are probably thinking. Yep, she's going to ink the corners, round the corners, and of course I'm rounding the corners. This is of course optional, but it's like a yeah, obsession that I have to do. And then because we've got white around it where I've just cut it out, I'm going to just go around it with the fossilised amber, which goes with this kit absolutely beautifully. This should be a fairly quick process. Okay, and then I'm just going to go along that score line and along that one, and then we'll just quickly do the inside. Doesn't even need to be perfect, just very quick and haphazardly, because it's almost the same colour, so it doesn't really matter too much. And then again along that score line and along that score line, and then I am going to go around it the same way with the vintage photo distress ink, but I will not do that now. I will do that whilst I am off camera. Okay, so that's just covered any of the white bits up. I love that. I really like how that turned out. Fairly plain, so we can decorate. And I like the back as well. Yep, I'm really happy with that. Okay, so that's our little cover piece. Okay, which obviously mimics this. Perfect. Okay. Happy. Okay, so now we don't need the scoreboard. No, we do not need the score. I'm just double checking in my brain. We do not need the scoreboard anymore. What we do need now though is the envelope punch board. Okay, so the scoring tool can go, that can go, the pencil can now go away, and so can the ruler. Okay guys, so for the envelope punch board we need the 5 by 5 inch pieces of paper. Now you can line these if you wish, because once this has been glued down you are going to see that, excuse me, that inside piece there. It will be white if you don't, but I'm not going to bother about that. Excuse me. Now I have lots of these here. I have been through the journal pages part of the kit, and I have used each page to cut out journal cards and 5 by 5 pieces for the envelopes. Now I know I didn't pay attention to pattern placement, so I know that some of these bees and flowers are going to be the wrong way around when I do the envelopes. Some might be right, some might be wrong. I'm not bothered. I'm really not fussed about that at all. But yes, so we have that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Doesn't really matter about pattern placement. There probably is a way of doing it, but I'm not going to fuss about it. Okay, so I've got them, that one, and then 2 nice plain yellow ones. Okay, so what we do now is we follow this guideline here, and it says to do a 2 by 3.5 gift card, which is what we've done for this. We need to score, the paper size needs to be 5.5 5 by 5, which it is, and we need to score at 2 inches. Okay, so sorry, we do need the scoring tool. So we find the 2-inch line on here. You push that, and in here there is a little line. So you gently use that line, and then we turn and we match this line up with that. And then we punch and score. Again, turn, line it up, punch and score. Again, turn, line up, punch and score. Oops, I'll just punch through it, but never mind. Okay, now these pointy bits here, if you use the back end of this like that and punch, it rounds it for you, which I am going to do. I'm just going to do this one set with you, and then I will do the rest off camera. I'll probably speed it up for you and then come back at the end. Okay, so then you go in like so, whichever way you want. Now these big flaps work out the same size, so it's up to you then whether you want it to be that way up and that going down, or that way up and that going down. Now obviously it looks better. That's the bee's wing, which you're not going to see because it's going to get glued over, so, and that just looks really nice on the flap, so that's going to be that one. Now this is completely optional, you can leave that as it is, but what I've done is I use my ruler, went across it and just cut across it, because that bit poking up like that really does annoy me. Now all you do is you line it up and you go from this corner to that corner basically, like so, and I just, which I actually won't do again, I'm just going to say I just used my craft knife to gently cut that off, but I did end up actually, where's it gone? Oh, there. I actually did end up slicing into the envelope, so I'm not going to do that again. I'm just going to use my ruler and bend that bit up, then I will use my craft knife to cut it off. You don't have to, you could use scissors, but I'm just going to use the craft knife and a metal ruler, and we're just going to slice it off. Okay, so now that folds up there, it lines up nicely with that line and that line there, and then that will fold down there beautifully, and there's your envelope. Okay, and then what we do is we take one of the journal cards. Again, I used the same pages to make some journal cards. I did follow pattern placement with these ones though, knowing that we're going to fold them in half. There are some plain ones, there are some decorative ones. Okay. As I said, I tried to follow pattern placement, and then all you do with these is just fold them in half. You can score them and do it, or you could just match corner to corner and fold in half, and then all I'm going to do is keep them in half and round the corners together, and that's that. There's your little journal card, there's your envelope, there's your little journal card, notebook, note card, journal card, whatever. There's your envelope, and then when it's all done, that will fit in there perfectly. Yay! Okay guys, so actually let's glue it together and then you can see. So which glue am I going to use? Let's use the Tombow glue because it's there. Alright, so you fold those in and that up, and then all I'm going to do is just glue on the edge of there, on the edge of there, up there, and up there. Obviously you don't glue across there because that will glue your envelope shut. Okay, and there's the envelope. Oops, give it time to dry. I forgot it's not like glitter glue, it doesn't dry immediately, does this glue? Okay, and there is the envelope done. Okay, like I said, give it time to glue together. Alright, and then as I said, when you've got the belly band sorted, your envelopes will fit in there, and then your cards will stack together and go on that side, or whichever side you want, and you can still see the little buzzy bee in the middle. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera guys, and I'm going to get all these done, and then I will come back at the end